Okay, so I pressed 1/4 of an inch all the way around. You can see where it's folded down. I'm gonna go ahead and sew on this. And it doesn't matter if you sew on the right side or the wrong side. I'm gonna go ahead and just sew on the wrong side so I can make sure I'm catching it all the way around. I'm just starting in the center back because that's just where I choose to start. You really could start anywhere you wanted. I'm just gonna line it up and sew this little flap down because it becomes the inside of our casing so that we have a nice finished edge on the inside to run our elastic and our drawstring through to finish off our pants, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and just sew around this. Oh, I didn't backstitch. Guess I'll do that right now. If it meets up, it's not a big deal, but just in case. As far as lining it up to keep it straight, I'm lining it up on the very inside of my presser foot on the tiniest little bump on that A foot. It's big enough that you could use the other one and it would be fine as well. It might actually be better. All right, so you can see where I'm getting close to a side seam where my pocket is. There's not a lot of bulk right there because it's just the two pieces of fabric sewed together. However, now is where it's going to get a little bit more challenging. So this is the front of the pajama pant and this is the pocket. So on this side, this is like the top of our pocket. I want to make sure that everything is going to get caught so it's all laid nicely together. If you need to pin it, please do so. Pinning is a lot easier than having to rip something out. I just want to make sure everything is caught. Make sure that it doesn't bunch up. That you are going through like 6 layers or more of fabric when you go over this bias tape. So I stopped with my needle down and kind of manipulated it a little bit to get that bias tape to go under. That is really a very acceptable and good thing to do. And then I can keep going. And then the next thing I'm going to come to is really the fly on my pants. And I have mine pinned. I unpinned it and ironed it and then pinned it again. I'm going to actually unpin it because my pin is laying like straight into the sewing machine. And I want to make sure that this is all going to lay nice and sew over that as well. If you're having an open fly, you would do these separate. I want mine closed. I even did my buttonholes that way because I don't really have any reason for a big baggy pair of pajama pants to have a functioning fly. So I chose to close mine. But if you want one, go right ahead. Now the same thing is true for the pocket on this side where you're gonna have some more layers and to watch out for this piece of bias tape. But for the sake of time, I'm going to stop recording because you're just gonna finish the rest of the round. So I'm halfway done with sewing that first one down and you'll just continue that seam.